And welcome back, students. Today we are going to build on some of the techniques that we talked about last time with arranging an image. This time specifically, let's go ahead and focus on using our sword image that we had previously created to go ahead and create a layered image that is going to add a lot more dynamic capabilities. And we're going to do this through our layers panel. So to get started, let's first open up our sword file that we had previously created. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a copy of this. So I'm just going to save a copy. And this time let's call this, I'm going to make it called two swords, simply because what I'm going to end up doing is make it into two different swords. All right. And let's go ahead and open two swords now. So here's two swords. And I should be able to go ahead and close swords. Yep, that can be saved. All right, now here's our copy, two swords.psd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the exact same process as I did before, which is, of course, to create another layer that's going to have this sword on. Now, I can't simply just duplicate this layer, because in this instance, if I were to duplicate this layer and make another sword and I try to stack it, the issue I'm going to have is that you notice that one of these layers has the exact same background fill as the previous layer. So if I go to layer 1, for example, or layer 1 copy here, let's just go ahead and call this second sword, just so I can keep these straight, and first sword. And I'm going to go to second sword, click on the layer, make sure it's highlighted. Use my quick select tool. Let's go ahead and just select the background here and make sure that we didn't accidentally grab any of these pieces here, and I can do that just holding down the Alt key, or you can do the sword and do select inverse. Both ways are fine, but just make sure that our selection is not grabbing anything of the sword. All right, now that I have those selected, if I hit the delete key, nothing happens, but I can come up here now and do edit, and of course we have our options here to clear that. Now, you won't see it here on this sword underneath because, again, this is gone, but if I hit that delete key or do edit clear, you can see that it's now removed that layer. All right, I'm just going to toggle that back on, and now I'm going to go to my move tool. All right, and now I'm going to just go ahead and deselect that, which I can do select and then deselect, or Control D. And now I'm going to make sure that second sword layer is still selected because I want to make sure that is the one I'm manipulating, not the original. And just to make sure I have that, I can move that around. You can see now I have two swords. If I were to stack these side by side, you can see it now have two side by side, but maybe I want to make it so they are crossing each other. So let's go ahead and use our transformation tools again. So let's go ahead, this time let's rotate that 180 degrees. And you can see now I have two swords that are going in the opposite direction. But that looks cool and all, but maybe I want them to be a little different direction. So let's look at our other rotations that we have. We have rotate 90 degrees clockwise, which of course now it's pointing down this way. So that could be cool if we're trying to make two sword patterns go in this direction. Or maybe I want to rotate that 90 degrees counterclockwise. And you can see now I have two swords that are facing like this. And this might be closer to something of which I'm trying to affect. And so maybe I'm going to put them like this. And you can see now I have two swords kind of crossing here. They look pretty good to me. And you can say, I want this sword to maybe be another layer. So maybe I put that behind the first sword. But now, I have this problem again of the first sword now covering that. So I would have to either A, plan ahead which sword do I want to be on top, or if I want, I can do the same thing as I did before. Come here, remove that background layer, and then create another layer that's going to fill, or I can leave it as such. Now, because of these two objects are now created, I'm going to go ahead and link these. And just to recap how to link these, I'm going to hold down Shift, click on both layers. I'm going to go ahead and right click and choose Link Layers. And now I have linked these two layers. So now even though I click on one, you can see it moves the whole object. So there we go. We now have created a two swords object using our selection techniques that we did before, as well as bringing in some layer